Hey, welcome back to Walk with Neil, where I take a few minutes during my daily walk here in Brooklyn, today in Brooklyn Bridge Park, to break down technology, leadership, and the future of work, all from a CTO's perspective. If this is your first time here, I'm Neil Bay. I spent the last 25 years leading engineering and technology teams at companies like HBO, TuneCore, and trusted media brands. And today I help growing startups as a fractional CTO, helping them scale the tech teams, ship smarter, and build with confidence. So the other night, I was telling a friend about a client project I'm working on involving Agentic AI, and she paused and asked, "What's Agentic AI?" Fair question. We throw around terms like generative AI, agents, and swarms, but for most people, it's all just AI. So let's clear that up. In this episode, I'll break down three key concepts: generative AI, AI agents, and agentic AI in plain English with real-world analogies. You'll leave with a much clearer sense of what's happening under the hood and where this is all going. Let's start with the most common question: what is generative AI really? And how does it fit into everything else? Generative AI is the kind of AI that creates stuff: text, images, music, even video, all based on the prompts you give it. You have probably already used it: ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney. They've become tools for writing emails, brainstorming marketing ideas, building images, making beats, and more. It's like having a hyper-creative assistant on call 24/7. You say, write a bedtime story about a robot who loves cupcakes, or give me a picture of a cat DJing in space, and boom, it delivers. Generative AI doesn't act unless you tell it to, and it doesn't know what your goal is. It's reactive. It waits for your prompt and gives you something back. It's powerful, but it's ultimately passive. So that raises a good follow-up. What's actually powering generative AI and everything else we're about to talk about? At the heart of it, all are LLMs, or large language models. LLMs are training on massive data sets. Think books, websites, conversations, code, in order to learn the patterns of language and logic. They don't think the way we do, but they're excellent at generating human-sounding responses. Some of these models, like GPT or Claude, are closed source, meaning you can access them, but you don't see the inner workings. Others, like Llama and Mistral, are open source, meaning developers can run and modify them directly. Every generative tool you've seen, it's running on top of one of these engines. And the same goes for the next evolution: agents. So here's the next logical question: if generative AI gives you answers, what does an AI agent actually do, and how is it different? AI agents are where things get more interesting. Instead of just responding to a prompt, an agent can act. It can take multiple steps, use tools, call APIs, interact with other systems, or even respond to feedback. Let's say you want to send out a newsletter. A generative AI might write the email, but you still have to copy it into MailChimp, schedule it, and hit send. An AI agent, it does all of that for you. It writes the email, logs into the system, sets up the campaign, checks your calendar, and schedules it. It's the difference between handing you a to-do list and checking the boxes for you. Now, smart agents are great, but that leads to the next question: how do AI agents actually interact with the real world? Not just generate text, but execute tasks, fetch data, or take action inside your business systems. That's where something called MCP, the Model Context Protocol, comes into play. But we'll save this for another walk with Neil. But essentially, it creates the bridge between the LLM, which is great at reasoning and conversation, and the actual actions that live in or outside your ecosystem. All right, now here's the big one. What is agentic AI, and how is it different from everything we've just talked about? It's not just a different way of saying AI agent. Agentic AI is what happens when multiple autonomous agents work together toward a shared goal. Not just one agent doing a task, but an entire swarm of agents coordinating, reasoning, and delegating between each other. Almost like a startup team in a box. And they can even self-trigger, which means one agent might notice something's off and spin up another agent to solve it. They plan, adapt, collaborate, and sometimes even compete, all without constant human input. This is what we call swarm architecture, and it's powerful, but it's also risky. We've all seen AI hallucinate, confidently producing something that's totally wrong. In a multi-agent system, that kind of mistake can cascade. one hallucination becomes another agent's input, which becomes a faulty action. And suddenly your system is off track or worse, doing damage. In fact, some studies show that without the right controls, faulty agent systems can fail up to 66% of the time. That's why building with Agentic AI means building with guardrails, verification layers, escalation logic, auditing agents, and quality checks. I myself use a checklist to validate all of that in any of these swarm architectures. Increasingly, we're seeing third-party tools that help score and validate agent performance, the same way you might QA a human team. Because when your system is the team, it better be one you can trust. So here's the big picture. Generative AI creates content but waits for you to act. AI agents take initiative, they act on your behalf. Agentic AI builds autonomous systems, networks of agents that collaborate, adapt, and solve problems together. All of it is built on LLMs and made smarter and safer with tools like MCP, plus thoughtful architecture and guardrails. Thanks for walking with me today. If you found this helpful, or if you're trying to figure out how this whole AI thing fits into your business, reach out. I'd love to chat. You can now follow Walk with Neil on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok under Lead with Neil. And here you can like, follow, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next walk. Stay curious and keep building.